Rolling.
Can you introduce yourself and
Hold
share your
yourself. Wait.
They're checking with each other. Hold on.
Alrighty, whenever you're ready.
Can you introduce yourself and share your connection to Rocktown?
My name is Daniel Cardona, and my parents were born and raised in Rocktown, Duarte, California.
Okay. Which family members lived in Rocktown and during what years?
My mom and dad, and all their siblings. My mom had 10 brothers and sisters, and my dad had 10 brothers and sisters. 20 Rocktown family members.
How old were they when they lived there?
Well, they were born there. You know, they didn't go to hospital when they were born. They were born in the houses there in Rocktown, and they lived there till I guess my dad was in his 20s when he got out of the army and married my mom. My mom lived there. You know, that's where she was raised. She went to Mexico for 9 years when she was younger, but that's where they were born and raised. My parents.
Why did your family move to Rocktown, Duarte?
You know, that was a great question. I was thinking about that. I think because of the area, my grandfather used to prune avocado trees in Bradbury. He was very famous for that.
What stories did your family share about life in Rocktown?
I learned more about it. They had a Rocktown reunion, I don't know, probably about 20 years ago. It was in Encounter Park in Duarte. And so there's all these old guys. Of course, my dad was dead already. My dad was kind of like a good guy among Duarte people, and he also delivered mail up in Fish Canyon in the 70s. And so all these guys were coming up to me saying how great of a guy my dad was. A lot of them were toothless and African American, but that's the way it was back then. But they were really appreciative of my dad. They said, "Hey, your dad was a great guy."
Are there any particular moments or events they remembered fondly?
They did?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you, but several of my dad's brothers, my uncles, served in World War II. So when they came back, they were like heroes, you know, heroes from World War II.
Were there moments or experiences that were especially challenging?
Well, I was thinking about this as well. There was one school, Davis Edition, at the east side of Duarte. In fact, my parents were born and raised on Date Street. Well, that's my dad. My mom was a different street, actually Central. But if it went east like that, there was a school called Davis Edition. So they said that's where the blacks and the Mexicans went to school. And they told me that the whites went to school at the, where the old spaghetti factory is now? That used to be the Duarte Unified School District. I used to work there. But then I came to find out one of my uncles, Charles Cardona, his wife, Dora, she went to school there because her picture's at the old spaghetti factory. It's in there right now. You can see it when they show pictures of the school. She's still alive. So, yeah, that's that.
Did your family pass on any sayings, songs, recipes, or traditions from Rocktown?
No, but they had dogs. That's one thing I remember. They had dogs, and so the best dog was Toby. He was like a German Shepherd mix, and that's what I got out of it. I don't know about any recipes or anything. Like my grandma had birds. That's what I remember. As little kids, birds. So yeah.
What did your relatives say about the sense of community or neighbors?
That it was good. So all the blacks and the Mexicans were like a big family, and there was like one store in Rocktown, and people I had to learn some of this. My grandfather used to dress up all good, maybe like a zoot suiter. I don't know, but I'm in a Friends of Rocktown actually site on Facebook. And this one black girl, Janice Jefferson, said, African American, she said that she remembered my grandpa dressing up, going down the street in Duarte, all dressed up real nice. She remembered that. So I thought that was very cool. And by the way, the streets were all dirt. I got that from my brother yesterday. I said, I'm the second youngest in my family. There's 5 of us. My brother's older than me, and I asked him what he remembered. He said, the streets were all dirt, no paved streets.
Interesting.
And where did your family live in Rocktown? Like a street corner house or something?
Yeah, near Date Street and Santo Domingo. You guys know Santo Domingo's right over here. But you know when they tore down Rocktown, we took a street sign. It was awesome. Date Street and Santo Domingo. And then somebody stole it from my mom's backyard. My mom's house is still run by Maxwell. So my family still lives in Duarte. But yeah, they stole that street sign, got me really upset. But it was near the corner. Actually, it was 1917 Date Street was the address, but it was near the corner of Santo Domingo.
And do you know the location of other family or friends' homes nearby?
Not too many, but only Lupe Garcia, because my mom used to go to church right here in Immaculate Conception, and we'd go pick her up. So Lupe Garcia lives right around the corner. So I think on whatever block the name of it was, north of Date Street. And then there was Santo Domingo, and couldn't tell you the streets, I don't remember, but it was one block north of Date Street.
And were there specific gathering spots, parks, or community centers you frequently visited?
No, the only thing I know that was kind of neat, and my mom told me that they used to walk. So you guys know where the bike trail is, right? Morning right there, there used to be a train, red line, going all the way to downtown LA. So my mom said they'd walk from Rocktown to right there and catch the red line to go to downtown LA.
Are there places in Rocktown your family would consider like off limits? Or like to avoid that area?
I don't think so. I don't think that was ever anything like that. You know, the guys used to gamble and drink under the pepper trees. The pepper trees, I don't know if you guys know what pepper trees look like. They're all hanging down real low. So they would be like shielding themselves from the sun and playing cards, smoking and drinking. So I imagine the women probably didn't go there a lot.
Okay. Are there locations that no longer exist but were important to like your daily life?
In Rocktown?
Yeah.
My daily life?
Or your parents?
Parents, you know, just thinking my sister, I was asking my sister too what she remembered. She said that city was very small. It was just small. You see, I see how huge it is now? Probably like one of the biggest things in Gordy. But it was very small back then. And yeah, that's what she told me about Rocktown.
What was a typical day like for your family in Rocktown?
That's a good question. I don't really know, but so I told you my mom went to Mexico for I think 9 years. So my dad was there. He went to school only till I think my dad went up to 9th grade. He dropped out. It was called MAD. You probably know this from over here at Duarte schools. He was a freshman there. I know this because he told me he ran 4:55 mile. So I was a runner, as you guys can see. That was my goal, to make my dad's 4:55 mile record. But I don't think he did anything out of the ordinary. I'll tell you this. When I went to the Rocktown reunion, all these guys that were there at the Rocktown, they were old and everything, they said, man, we had the best childhood. If we wanted to do some fishing or swimming, we just went to the riverbed right there. Hunting too. So they weren't at a loss for anything. I mean, they were doing things. The train came right there, and they would just mess around there. I know that because me as a little kid, we used to put coins on the tracks, and the train would run them over, and we'd get them.
What
That I
river
remember.
was that?
What's that?
What river was that?
San Gabriel River, it's right here.
Oh,
You guys know that, the river. So they used to hunt, they used to fish, and they used to swim in the river. Like, in fact, they had a bridge called the Black Bridge. That was where a train went over. I don't know if it exists anymore, but it was on the south side. And they used to do all kinds of stuff over there.
What activities, hobbies, or games did children in your family enjoy?